Greetings guys, gals and non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I hope that you are well and I hope that you are fighting, because there is a lot to be fighting for. As usual, there will be a link in the description to the page on my website with a bunch of petitions, donations, emails to send to MPs, etc, etc. Now today, as you can tell from the title, there is something or someone very specific that I want to talk about, and that is Belle Delphine. The reason I want to talk about this is because I was doing my usual wasting all my time on Twitter when I come across her trending for the third time this year already. And I just wanted to talk about that because there's a lot that I think we need to unpack and talk about and discuss. Now, I would imagine we all know who Belle Delphine is at this point, but if you don't, I'll give you a quick little summary. Basically, Belle Delphine came onto the scene back in 2018 as this quirky, weird e-girl who made faces and hung out with a dead octopus and sold her own bathwater. Just kind of took over the internet. She was very, very popular, and a lot of YouTubers made videos about her, and then she disappeared. I can't remember why. I maybe should have checked, but I didn't. She disappeared for about a year, I think, and then came back a couple of months ago with a song where she was singing. She was playing with raw meat and had her dead octopus, because that's what she is. She's very, very weird, very quirky. And then she bought Willenie a pink car and announced she was going to start making adult film content. But for real this time, because she joked about it in the past, but this time she was dead serious. No, I'm going to start making porn on my OnlyFans. And that's cool. That's chill. If that's what you want to do, honey, you do that. OnlyFans is a really great place to be producing that content. If you're going to be producing or consuming pornography or anything along those lines, I personally think OnlyFans is a really, really great place to do it. There is a lot wrong with the porn industry and the way that particularly women are treated. So if you go straight to OnlyFans, you're supporting creators, they're doing what they want to do on their own terms, and it's a great platform. And one of the things I think was really great about 2020 is that it became much more normal, and a lot more people are using OnlyFans as their source of adult content. And I think that that's really cool. But that is not what we're talking about. That's just a little side note. Support sex workers is the side note. And the reason she's trending on Twitter is that she posted a set of photos of her role-playing being kidnapped and sexually assaulted. And people were rightfully very upset by this. She posted these photos without any context, without any trigger warning. She just posted these 4 photos with the caption, "My perfect first date," with a heart. And this is on a public platform where she has 1.5 million followers, and it is not a private account. So people were very upset, and I think that that is very justified, and I will talk about that in just a moment. And because people were so upset and there was such a huge outcry about this, Belle made an apology that she published this morning. And I wanted to go over that, and I'm going to use that as my talking points for everything we're going to discuss today, because there's a lot to unpack, and I think that this is the best way to go about it. I'm going to put the apology up on screen, and you can pause it if you want to read the whole thing. It is very, very long, but I'm going to go through pieces of it. So, going into the first part of her apology, I agree with a decent amount of what she said. There is nothing wrong with enjoying power play and BDSM. I totally agree. If you're into that, you're into that. Even when it comes to consensual non-consent, if that is something that you enjoy yourself, that's fine. You can do that. Totally chill. I'm not gonna judge you. Do you? And also when it comes to people getting upset with her with the way she was dressing and saying she's trying to look like a child, I understand where she's coming from with that. She just looks young. That's not her fault. She looks young, but she is a sexually active adult and she wants to be creating adult content. She's allowed to do that. That's no one else's business. If that's what she wants to do, she can do that. The one thing I do have to disagree with from this opening statement, I think that there is a big difference between posting consensual non-consent content online and violence in video games in terms of what it's promoting and how that works psychologically, there's been a lot of studies done about pornography and how it impacts people in the way they view sex and the way that they view women. Whereas with video games, there have been studies that show that that doesn't happen. Most people are very aware that those aren't real people. The violence that happens in video games isn't real. They aren't hurting real people. They're able to separate that and distinguish the difference between the two. The problem when it comes to pornography is that you are a real person. And although they are role-playing, and a lot of the time with pornography it is acting and it is over-exaggerating, people have a harder time distinguishing that that is different. Belle posted to 1.5 million people with a photo set of her being tied up and kidnapped and assaulted with "my perfect first date" as the caption. That is normalizing it. You are a real person, Belle, and people know that you're a real person. And seeing that, people are like, oh, this is what women like. Because you are a real person. Video games, no one thinks, oh, they're real people. Oh, I'm going to go out and do this on real people. As well as the fact that they're being violent. People know that people don't want to be hurt. The people they're hurting in the video games aren't saying, yes, hurt me more. I love being hurt. Hurting me is good. Another problem that I have with this is that she said 31 to 61% of women are into BDSM, power play, and rape fantasies. Those are not the same thing. And putting them together as a lump is dangerous. Firstly, 31 to 60% is a huge disparity, and I could not find where the statistics was from. I was looking for statistics, and there is no set statistic. There are so many variations of statistics. And as I say, consensual non-consent is a small part of the BDSM community. Not everyone who is into BDSM and power play is into consensual non-consent. So even if your statistic of 31 to 61% is right, a smaller percent of that percent is going to be into rape fantasies. Like a very small percent. And again, I'm not saying that it's bad if that is something that you're into. That is totally fine. You can be into that. The problem is sharing it. As it says here, what I did wasn't wrong and much more normal than people think. Look at one of the most common sexual outfit fantasies. Schoolgirl. If you wear that, are you promoting pedophilia now? Yes. Yes. The schoolgirl kink and fetish is pedophilic. It's gross. We've been saying this for a long time. We as a society infantilize women so much, and it's so gross and it's so wrong. You look at statistics of the age of people women are attracted to for their age group versus the age of people men are attracted to for their age group. And with women, they sort of age with them. Men consistently are attracted to 25-year-old girls. You see it on Pornhub and on porn sites. So many of the trending topics are like teen girl, schoolgirl. We're not saying that that's normal. We're not saying that that's okay. It's not. Just like this isn't okay. We need to stop sexualizing teenagers and children and young people. That's gross and it's terrifying and it's terrible. It's really terrible. I've seen stories of girls saying because of the sexualization of school uniforms, there are teenage girls who get catcalled when they're wearing them. There are teenage girls who get harassed and assaulted while wearing their school uniforms because of how sexualized they have become. School uniforms should not be sexualized. That is pedophilic. I don't know why you would think any differently. Fantasies aren't realities. Fantasies don't portray what people want. Most of the time, they do. When it comes to consensual non-consent, a lot of people who use that are people who are survivors of rape, of assault, and they do it to claim back power over that situation. That is where that role play is mostly seen. It's about taking control back over your body. There are so many studies showing the harm of pornography, right? There's so much wrong with so much porn. It teaches awful things, right? A lot of women feel like they have to perform in bed. They have to please their partner, and that it's their job to please men, and men feel like it's women's job to please them. And a lot of that ideology comes from porn. A lot of sex for women is fluffing men's egos because that's what we're taught we are meant to do. And a lot of that comes from porn. And this is what I love about OnlyFans, is moving away from big awful corporations like Pornhub who steal porn, who upload illegal porn, which they've fixed now, thank God. There's a whole thing with Pornhub at the moment that's great at the moment. There's so much terrible stuff on there, and so many women are exploited, and there's sex trafficking and everything all on that site. And OnlyFans is great because it gives people the liberty to do what they want. They aren't being exploited. As far as I'm aware, it's people creating content that they want to create, and it's consensual, and it's great, and you're able to support them as who they are, and that's going to teach people, hopefully, more about real sex, and I hope people are less performative on there. Yeah, no, what I'm saying is that porn has stunted a lot of people's perception on sex, and a lot of it does promote violence and misogyny and harassment and assault. I've had bad experiences with men because of the porn that they have consumed. It's a thing that a lot of us experience, and it is a problem. And so by denying that that's a problem, you are not making your point any better. When it comes to consensual non-consent, like I say, there is no problem with you doing that in your own time. But I don't think it is something we should be publishing on the internet, especially to an audience as large as yours. It is not something that should be promoted, because when you have such a large audience, there's a level of responsibility that you have to take, and you have to realize the amount of people who are going to be seeing that and who are going to be taking it seriously. There was a comment that I saw as a reply to this apology that was, "No one likes rape," preceded by 31 to 61% of women have power play rape fantasies. People genuinely cannot distinguish the difference between consensual non-consent and non-consent. And so by publishing and promoting consensual non-consent in this way, people are getting the lines blurred, and people genuinely do believe that this is what women want. You see it a lot in the media. There's that Netflix movie, was it 100 Days or something? And there's like TikToks. I did a POV TikTok a few videos back where they're glorifying and romanticizing kidnapping people. It's fine if that's what you're into, but don't be putting it on the internet where there are hundreds of thousands of people who have your content available to them. Especially don't do it without trigger warnings. You said that anyone following you should be just aware that that's what you're going to post, and that you post explicit content and maybe they shouldn't follow you. Your account isn't private. That was retweeted 10,000 times. That ends up on tens of thousands more people's feeds than follow you. And they all see that. And that is going to be triggering for some people, and it's going to be enabling for some people. It's one thing to post it on your OnlyFans. It's another thing to post it on your public Twitter account. And even when it comes to posting it on OnlyFans, I have very mixed feelings about posting things like consensual non-consent. BDSM, bondage, very different. Remember that almost every woman has been or knows someone who has been assaulted, and almost every man knows someone who has assaulted someone. And that is a statistic that you need to remember, and something that you need to hold on to, because that tweet had 60,000 likes. There are a lot of men who take advantage of women, and thinking about how many of those people who have liked that tweet will be people who have and will assault people, this just helps justify their actions. And I hope that you do take that into consideration, and I hope that you understand what we're all trying to tell you. No one is trying to shame you for your kinks. We just want to stop normalizing and romanticizing the abuse of women, both in the sex industry and outside of it. If you want to do porn, that's great. Good for you, Belle. I don't care. I am a big advocate and supporter of sex workers, and I think OnlyFans is an excellent platform for it. I've said that countless times. I think sex workers are treated really terribly, and I think we need to treat them much better. Could talk about that for days. I've already done a video about it, but I could talk about it forever. Sex workers are underappreciated and mistreated and deserve so much better, and I have a lot of admiration for them. But that is not what this is about. So please don't be taking my words and thinking that I'm against sex work or that I'm kink shaming, because that is the last thing I want to be seen as doing. Do whatever you're into. Make adult content. That's fine. But know that there is a line. It's a very thin line, but I think this crosses it, and I hope this explanation was a good enough one to make you understand why I think that. So that's my thoughts on that. I just really want to talk about it because I think it's really important, and it's something that I've talked about on this channel before, and I haven't talked about it for a while, and I thought that this was a good opportunity to do so. I hope that you have learned something, and I hope that you take something away from this. Let me know what you think. I'd be interested to hear from people within the BDSM community and people who are sex workers. So let me know. I would be interested to hear other people's thoughts and sides. Thank you so much to my Kiwi Fruit channel members whose names are up on the screen right now. And a big thank you to my channel member of the day, Junie Tunes. I love and appreciate you so, so much. Thank you so much for joining. If you would like to become a channel member, you can click the top link in the description or the little blue join button. You get my videos a day early, as well as 10% off my merch at thequeerkiwi.com/shop. This video is not monetized, so if you want to help support me in making more content like this, it'd be amazing if you could support me and grab some merch. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. And when you close your eyes,